Okay, it's WeedFreak976, and this one I think is going to be one of my most important videos, because this is how to totally refute right-wing nuts. Reactionary nuts. Because I've been battling these kooks for the last nearly a year now on YouTube, which, by the way, in a couple weeks I'm doing my 1-year anniversary of doing videos on YouTube. A 1-year anniversary to represent 1 year. Never mind. Anyway. I have just got to say this, that I have met some nice libertarians who are still friends of mine. I actually like them. I think they're good people. I may disagree with them a lot of times, like Owen, Secular Numinous, or Rob, but I like them. But there are the Ron Paul crazies. And not just Ron Paul, but, you know, a guy left a message on my page named Rothbard Mises. Von Mises, by the way, for all you geniuses out there. Murray Rothbard called, I think it was, if I remember correctly, Milton Friedman and Hayek socialist. And then, I think so, yeah, if I remember, yeah. I mean, I can't believe that he called those two socialist. Anyway. He left the world, the Illuminati are coming, the world, vote Ron Paul 2012, get rid of the Fed, you know, I mean, I'm just sitting there like, you do realize the Fed is private bankers, right? I need a drink for this. Water. Good old water. I need to be at my best if I'm going to take on these nuts. So, like I said, I've been one of the top most hated people among these quacks. And, I think the most hated one's Frank's, because they really flood his page with, you know, I mean, they're trying to force him. That's why he's gotten, you know, some people are asking me, they're like, why is Frank's the way he is? You know, I mean, I've seen what happens on Frank's page. I mean, they've cooled down on my page. On Frank's, it's still bad. I mean, they still flood his page with propaganda and stuff, trying to, like, you're gonna believe this, you know. And coming from people who are like, I don't want the government to force me to do nothing. Boy, you're sure as hell trying to force somebody to believe in your ideology, aren't you? Spamming his inbox, spamming his page, his videos and stuff. I mean, yeah, you guys have a funny way of showing you're really for democracy, aren't you? Anyway, here is how to refute a lot of their bullshit garbage. And I mean, some of this stuff is complete and utter bullshit. And I'm not talking about a small little pile. I'm talking about one that a big T-Rex would have left. Here we go. First up. Taxation is theft. Wrong. Here's why. When you print money, who is usually the one who prints the money? The government. I thought you did the Federal Reserve. No, the Federal Reserve just gives out the money. I mean, I know they do help print it, but who gives them the order to print the money? The government. The government gives them the order. So, when the Fed prints the money, that was the government that gave them that permission to print the money. It's the government's money. When the government taxes you, you have to pay your taxes. That is not theft. If anything, when you don't pay your fair share, or when you don't pay no taxes at all, that is theft. You're no better than us. And when the rich get all these loopholes and ship their accounts overseas and do anything possible, and some of them even get subsidies instead of paying taxes, that is theft. They pay 80% of the taxes. There's another one. Bullshit. That's federal income tax, and the majority of taxes come from local sales, state, and payroll taxes. Look this stuff up. I'm going to leave links to it. So you guys have got to know how to refute them. Insulting them and stuff is not going to do no good. You'll just get into a big shouting match. You've got to do this stuff, then you can refute them. Okay? Next up. I don't mean socialism because I don't want the state to put a gun to my head. When a law is passed, no one is holding a gun to your head. When Barack Obama signs a bill, and we can talk about Obama all we want, say what we want about him. Fact of the matter is, I don't like that. I think he's been a big disappointment myself. But that's beside the point. The fact of the matter is, the man's using a pen to sign a law. Because if that's the case, then the free market, they're holding a gun to my head. Because guess what? How do you think you're going to get to a free market? You're going to have to enforce laws to make sure that the free market happens. Okay? The corporations, which you guys are saying you're trying to get away from, are not just going to hand over their power. You're going to have to force them to give it up. So I guess you guys want to put a gun to their head, right? Give me a break. A law that makes people act good and stuff, which forces them to do that, is not putting a gun to someone's head. Okay? Government doesn't create jobs. Bullshit. What do you think your little boy Paul is? He's a government employee. He works for the government. I want to hear refutes on this. I want to hear retaliate. I do. I want to hear you guys refute this. He works for the government. Seriously, what do you think he's going to do? Your guy's like, I'm going to vote Ron Paul. He's going to really get low, really small government, or maybe even get rid of it at all. Yay! What do you think he's going to do? Get in there and just go, oh, to hell with all this power and get rid of agencies and stuff? No. He's going to want to keep a lot of this because he'll want the money, the power. Okay. Next up. The free market will cure it. Will cure everything. The free market is the solution for everything. Let the market cure it. How? Okay, now I got into a heated debate with some atheists, and they kept telling me, Mike, you have to have burden of proof. When I say that I personally believe in God, the burden of proof is on me to prove it. Okay. So when libertarian right-wing reactionaries say, the free market works, prove it. You have to prove that it works. Because New Zealand tried it. They had an experiment with it a while back. It failed miserably. Okay? It failed spectacularly. You guys have to prove over how many years, hundreds of years, that you have been advocating for the free market that it works. Because if you don't, then you're full of shit. I want proof. Show me proof. Show me proof that the free market works. The market will cure itself. No government involvement. How? Again, how? Explain to me how, when you need human interaction for a market to work, that you're gonna have a market fix itself. That's impossible. You have to have, this is simple, human interaction for that to happen. And you're going to have government regulation. Oh, this is getting ridiculous. I'm starting to get flustered. I mean, seriously, and I should make it more clear. What I mean by human interaction is, like, laws being passed. So let me make that clear. Sorry, but, you think that anything could just be, if something's wrong, that you should just not say, if inflation is running wild, to cut spending, maybe, And I mean, by cut spending, I don't mean on social programs and stuff, but like wasteful spending, like, big military contracts and stuff. And corporate bonuses and stuff. I mean, seriously, you have to do something. Raise taxes. There are things you can do to fix the market. So I think I should make that clear. I'm just getting frustrated. So, I mean, that is something that you do. You have to do something. If inflation is running rampant and stuff, it's not just going to level out. I mean, seriously, what are you guys thinking with this stuff? I mean, you know, this is what I have to put up with, and this is why I get grumpy. Everybody's like, Michael, you get grumpy. Yes, I get grumpy because when you deal with a bunch of idiots, it kind of starts getting to you after a while. But seriously, it does. I mean, another one is regulations destroy jobs. Really, is that why when we had the Glass-Steagall regulations, we had 40 years of growth? From the when Roosevelt signed it, all the way up until old Reggie Beacon and Bill Clinton and them started chipping away, and then Clinton finally got rid of it in 1999. Is that why we had 4 decades of growth? I refute it. You say the regulations and stuff don't work, so really you don't want your water regulated, your food regulated, you know, you don't want, you don't want that kind of stuff? I do. You don't want to make sure that customers are being protected from predatory lenders and banks and stuff? I do. Which is what got us into this mess. Corporations are people, right? Well, why don't they be treated like people? You do something wrong, you pay the price. And you should have people watching you. Because we have people watching us. Just saying. Higher taxes leads to less jobs. Wrong. If you look at, like the 1950s, where the tax rate on the rich was 2%. The unemployment rate got as low as 2.8%. And it's only was high as 4.8%. Well, actually, it was a little about 5.5% in 1956. I think 56 was the year. If anybody knows, if I'm wrong on this, you can either PM, leave a comment, or whatever. If I'm wrong on this, if I'm wrong on the year when there was a mild recession. But again, it was better than what has happened since the 80s. Ouch. Sorry about that. You know, where we've had unemployment go up to almost 11%. Unemployment didn't get out of control back when taxes were high, including under those radical socialists, good old Richard Nixon, Jerry Ford, Jimmy Carter. I mean, you know, things they got a little bad, but they never got real bad. Okay? Is this making sense now? And another one is, like I said, higher taxes leads to less jobs. No, it doesn't. Under Clinton, when the taxes rate was 40%, I still think it should be higher, but we added 23 million jobs. Oh, here's another one. Government doesn't create jobs. Oh yeah, but I was getting to that, you know. Okay, Ron Paul works for the government. But also teachers, firefighters, post office workers, social workers. Who do you think employs these people? The magical tooth fairy? See, this is how you beat them. This is how you defeat the foolishness. Ah, another one. The only reason Norway can get away with a lot of socialism is because they have oil, and you know, it's government owned, number one. But they also have a small population, really. So the amount of money that Norway uses is not as much as we use because we have more people. So if we were to distribute the wealth more evenly in this country, instead of a 600% income gap, let's say a 20% income gap or 18% income gap. So we would just be using that money, just redistributing it more equally. So how would that hurt the money supply? It wouldn't. How would it add to the money supply? It wouldn't. It just means that the money would go someplace else, not just to a few at the top. That's all. So when people say the only reason nobody can do this socialism is because they got 5 billion people, no. The reason they use socialism is because it works. I'll say, I don't know every single one, but I do know that over 90% of the policies used in Norway are freaking socialist policies. They have one of the highest tax rates in the world on the rich. They have heavily government-regulated banks and stuff, and a banking sector. They have a government-controlled health care, education. Seriously, what's libertarian about them? What's capitalist about them? The income gap keeps going down. The unemployment rate is 3.4%, and it keeps falling. So really, I want to know, what is a capitalist about it? You got like products and stuff aren't supposed to be sold and everything. Yes, products are made and sold. But if it's government owned, it's publicly owned to the people. So again, you're going to have to come up with a better excuse than, than they say, Norway's a mixed economy. No, they're not a mixed economy. They are not a mixed economy. A mixed economy is about a split, even if there is like one or two capitalist ideals in there. It's 95% socialist. And it works. They got a $100 billion surplus, which is going to be a $1 trillion surplus in 20 years for them. Their unemployment rate keeps going down. They're the happiest country in the world. Their people are the happiest. They have the highest standard of living. What part of this don't you get? You're going to have to come up with better excuses than the crap you keep throwing my way. Jesus. Seriously. So, I mean, Norway's a mixed system. No, it's not a mixed system. If it's a mixed system, you're going to have to give me examples of it being a mixed system. Okay? Ask for examples. Do that. Come on, brother socialists. We have to do that. Tell these people, if you are going to lie and stuff, if you're going to make up excuses and pull things out of your ass, you are going to have to back it up. You have to do this. I'm telling this to my liberal and socialist friends, because if we don't, they're going to keep lying. Do not let their, and if somebody keeps over and over asking the same question, just keep saying, I want proof. Show me proof. Come on, give me proof. Come on, give examples. Come on. When they say that higher taxes leads to no jobs, you got to say, give me proof. Come on, I can give you proof that higher taxes don't lead to less jobs. They actually lead to more jobs. If they say taxation's theft, you got to say, come on, nope, you got to do better than that. Taxation's not theft. This is what we got to do. We have to keep doing this, because if we don't, then they're just going to drown us out, soapbox our channels and everything. Franks is right. Franks is absolutely right. And I'm going to put up some of Franks' videos in the description box, so that way you can go and check out what he thinks you should do. Because this is getting ridiculous. I mean, it went from being my YouTube page that got bombed with negative remarks. Now it's my Twitter page that gets bombarded by the Paul turds and all these other people who act like you don't know what you're talking about. Even though, like I said, I took economic classes and stuff, and I may not be a genius like Louis the Protectionist, or my good friend Silvana in Sweden, or Albert Rudstead 1. I may not be experts like these guys, but I do know what I'm talking about. I do know a lot about economics. I do know how you get the rate of inflation, which, by the way, Austrians, like Frank said, would you guys mind please explain to me how you get the rate of inflation using the Austrian theory? Okay, I got that off my chest. I hope this helps and everything, and I hope you like it and everything. I hope this was helpful. The truth.